So she gets out a pen and asks me to hold the mirror, and she starts drawing on my face. She was telling me where to get liposuction on my perfectly fine face with no medical training. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Rose. Now, if you weren't aware, I love skin. Not in like a creepy Silence of the Lambs way, although to be honest with you, give me another couple weeks in quarantine and we'll see. I love the science, I love the way that it makes you feel, I love the ritual of it all. However, my experiences have not always been positive. No, in fact, I have been burnt, ridiculed, and had the worst allergic reactions that you've ever seen in your entire life, all in the pursuit of this unattainable glass skin. So today I'm going to tell you about all of those traumatic experiences, because if we've learned anything from reality TV, it's that it's fun to laugh at other people's misfortune. So let's go. So the first traumatic experience I'm going to share is with a product, and that product was called African black soap, and I bought it because it promised miracles. That was my first mistake. Products are never gonna perform miracles. My second mistake was buying it from an unverified seller on Amazon. Always go to a reputable company for skincare. Always. Just do it. So I started using this product and I broke out. And when I say I broke out, it was just ridiculous, just all over my face. Now, I've spoken a lot in previous videos about my acne. My acne had always been kind of in this area, like quite like localized. This was insane. I will put pictures up of, I probably don't have pictures of like the worst because I was so traumatized. I just didn't want to see it immortalized in a camera and like a photo, but I definitely have pictures of my recovery, and you can see where the spots are. They're like randomly placed all over my skin, and they're angry and they're red, and my entire face went completely red. I have sensitive skin anyway, and this just made it awful. And again, bearing in mind, this is post acne. I was genuinely traumatized. I thought that I'd like finally got past the acne stage, but no, it had reoccurred with a vengeance. I was crying all the time. I was thinking like, I've done this, like I've paid my dues. Like I went back to the place that I was in when I had acne, where I was like so unconfident, and like I'd always think that people were talking to my spots rather than talking to me, and like I was really uncomfortable, as I say, crying all the time. It was a horrible experience. And I know it's just skin, I know it's just your face, like you shouldn't be in a really dark place because of your skin, but like I think that if you haven't experienced really bad breakouts, then you don't quite understand how much it can like attack your confidence, and that can leak into all different areas of your life. For me, for example, I was working on a show that was very kind of well known, and it was kind of like my dream job at the time, and I was really excited, but every single meeting, every time I spoke to somebody new, I was like, they're looking at my spots, they're judging me on the spots, the only thing they're talking about is my skin. And it really like affected me very negatively, and yeah, just one of the worst experiences. Let's leave that behind, please, and let's talk more about probably one of my worst experiences with skin treatments. So I was working in China at the time, and I decided to go and have a facial on my day off because we were working really long hours, and so my skin was very dull and kind of tired, and also the pollution in Beijing was not really working very well with my skin. So I decided to book myself a facial at a very high-end spa. I mean, it looked like a very high-end spa on the website, and my friend had gone and she really recommended it. So I turned up at the place, and bearing in mind, this is not a hospital, this is not somewhere where you're going to go and have face like treatments, like hospital treatments. This is just like a normal spa where they're gonna like massage your face a little bit, put some nice cleansers on and stuff like that, like a normal facial place. So anyway, I go in and she starts doing my face, and I'm really starting to relax, and it's really lovely. And then she starts talking to me in this kind of like broken English, saying like, oh, nice face, blah, 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 blah. And so I was like, oh, thank you very much. That's very kind of you. But then she pulled out a mirror, and I thought that she was talking about my skin, and I speak a little bit of Chinese, but not enough to be able to understand the kind of technical words that she was using. So I was just very confused at this point. So she gets out a pen and asks me to hold the mirror, and she starts drawing on my face. She was telling me where to get liposuction on my perfectly fine face with no medical training. I mean, she may have had medical training, I don't know her background, but that was not what she was there to do, and that was certainly not why I was there. I just wanted a nice relaxing facial to make my face a little bit happier. Anyway, she's been drawing these lines and she's kind of pulling my skin back a little bit to show how nice my face would look without the extra like smush on it. And I don't know, I just started to feel so uncomfortable and like really like knocked my confidence a little bit, because like I'm not super skinny, but I'm also not overweight by any means like whatsoever. I'm like perfectly like average, and I'm perfectly fine with my face. Yes, I could lose a little bit, but who cares? And I certainly didn't go there to be told that I should lose a little bit of weight. I was like, my face is fine, thank you very much. Anyway, obviously I didn't really say any of this to her because I don't speak good enough Chinese to be able to do that. And also I wanted to be polite and I didn't want to like make a scene. So I was just like, no, I'm okay, like I'm okay. And obviously we had gone over the time or something at this point, or perhaps we were talking too loudly, but her boss, or who I assumed was her boss, walked in, and the look on her face, she was mortified, like absolutely mortified. Anyway, the experience was not great, but the boss lady was very, very kind. She was very, very apologetic, even though there wasn't a huge amount to apologize for. I felt uncomfortable, but you know, it's not the end of the world. But she was so kind, and she gave me the treatment for free and gave me a bunch of vouchers, which was really, really kind of her. And I think she was just as embarrassed as I was, and I don't really know what happened to the lady that was doing my facial. I never really followed up, if I'm being completely honest with you. I'm sure she's still there, but perhaps maybe she's not giving out medical advice anymore. I would hope anyway. That was a very difficult experience because I went in hoping for something calming and relaxing, and I came out with pen on my face, like thinking that my face is too fat, which is not what you should be leaving a spa feeling like. And kind of moving on from that experience, I had another very traumatic moment at this time a more kind of medical center. I went in for some light laser treatments. I only actually ended up going twice, but I wanted to maybe try and figure out if I could get rid of some of my hyperpigmentation and scarring. So I was at this office and they were very, very nice. It was in Korea, and they were talking to me about my face, and they were asking me about what I wanted to do with my moles. And I was kind of taken aback because I've always called these my beauty spots. I have one there and one there, and I've always really, really liked them. As I say, in England we call them beauty spots, but they were like intimating that they wanted to get rid of them, and I think it was like a mistranslation, but she said that they were ugly, and it really isn't a big deal obviously, but it made me feel very small at the time. I was like, oh, she thinks I'm ugly, that's not fun. And now this is obviously not super uncommon. I have a lot of European friends that have had similar issues with skin clinics telling them that they should get rid of things that in Korea seem not desirable, but in the West we really, really like them. For example, beauty spots, that's a perfect example. So that experience wasn't ideal because I ended up leaving feeling worse about myself than when I went there, and about things I've always felt very confident in, so that wasn't great. Now we're going to talk about another product that just was horrendous. I mean, really bad. So if you guys don't know that much about me, I work in entertainment and like film, theatre, TV, stuff like that. And all throughout college, university, I worked in theatres, and it was coming up to my second year of university, and I got this interview for a job that was like my dream job, and I was so excited, like so excited. And the night before, I was gonna go to bed, and I was like doing my skincare routine, which at the time wasn't that impressive. I've got a video of it somewhere and it's like pretty horrendous. But anyway, I was doing this lovely skincare routine, and I decided that I thought professional women used sprays on their face to make them look beautiful. I want to look like those professional women. So I liberally sprayed my face with Mario Badescu's rose water spray, and it was the worst decision that I had made in my life up to that point. My skin was red and inflamed and like genuinely had puffed out like a ridiculous amount. The next morning, it didn't look any better, and I had my interview that afternoon, and I tried my hardest, bless my little soul, to cover it up with makeup, but it was not getting covered up. Anyway, I went to the interview and I apologized for my appearance because I looked crazy, insane. Luckily I got the job and it was great, and I developed a really nice relationship with that theatre, but it was a horrible, horrible, traumatic experience with a product for many, many reasons, and thank God I got the job, because if I'd lost a job because of skincare, I would have lost my mind. So my next traumatic experience is skin related, but it's also hair related. So again, if you guys don't know that much about me, I used to model a little bit when I was much younger. I'm not going to talk about it a lot because I was not a very serious model. I didn't take it particularly seriously, but it earned me a nice little bit of pocket money when I was growing up. I was also like half the size I am now, the same height, I was 5'10", but like, zoop, much skinnier, and then I got boobs and a butt and I couldn't do it anymore. But anyway, I used to do it a little bit, and on one of my jobs I was flown to Rome, which I was very, very excited about because it was one of the first times I think that I had ever been out of the country working by myself. Now I am naturally blonde, but for this particular job, they wanted someone with just like a bit of like an ashier blonde, like just a little bit brighter. And my agent agreed to me having my hair dyed out there just a little bit, like bleached a little bit. Now this wasn't a huge deal because my hair was pretty blonde anyway, and so it was just going up a shade or two, so it wasn't this huge change. It was all going to be fine. It was not fine. So I was in this seat getting my hair essentially bleached for the first time, by the way, and my hair at this point, my head is so painful. There are like tears coming up in my eyes, and I didn't know what to do because I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to come across as like too young. I was definitely the youngest person in the room by far, and I didn't want to look uncool to all of the like cool, beautiful models that were like real people, and I was just this little girl with like major imposter syndrome, and they were burning my hair. Like they realized pretty quickly that it was not going very well when they checked, and it was not a good time. They didn't really know what to do. I mean, they did know what to do, they were professionals, but I don't think that they expected my skin to react the way that it did. And what actually happened was that the bleach burnt my skin, literally. There were chemical welts on my scalp, and this entire time, by the way, I haven't said a fucking word because I'm so frightened of looking unprofessional or like being difficult to work with. So I'm just sitting here crying internally because I don't want the big girls to make fun of me. I was just sitting there without being able to speak a word of Italian, just like with my hair on fire. Horrendous. It was a horrible, horrible experience. It was not very fun. So that wraps up some of my most traumatic experiences when it comes to skin treatments and products. I hope you guys have learned from my traumatic events, and I will see you guys this time next week for hopefully a much happier video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!